As June National Homeownership comes to a close, I wanted to talk about why this month is so special. Home ownership is undeniably a cornerstone of the American dream. With it brings a level of economic security and an opportunity for families to build generational wealth. Unfortunately, as housing grows increasingly expensive, owning a home is further out of reach than ever before. This is especially true for younger homebuyers, people of color, and low-wealth individuals. The gap between Black and white home ownership rates have reached a 120-year high. The Latinx home ownership rate also significantly lags behind the white home ownership rate. Our nation's widening racial wealth and home ownership gaps are byproducts of systemic racism, including the legacies of slavery, Jim Crow segregation, redlining, and other policies that targeted Black people and other communities of color. Not to mention our nation's economic crisis, such as during the current pandemic, disproportionately hurt these groups, who often do not get an equal share in economic recovery. So as chairwoman of the Financial Services Committee, my committee has been working hard to redress these disparities and expand access to the dream of home ownership. Here's what we've done. This month, under my leadership, my committee introduced a transformative racial and economic justice package entitled the Financial Services Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Economic Justice Act. This package, among many other things, aims to close the racial wealth gap and eliminate barriers to housing and home ownership. The housing title of the Build Back Better Act, which my committee led and the House passed last year, includes over $150 billion in fair and affordable housing investments that will increase and preserve the supply of more than 1 million homes across the country. These investments will help decrease housing costs and lower worsening inflation. We've also pushed forward my bill, the Fair Appraisal and Inequity Reform Act of 2022, which will reform the appraisal industry to eliminate appraisal discrimination and make home valuations fairer for everyone. In addition, my Down Payment Toward Equity Act, which my committee just passed last week, will provide $100 billion in down payment assistance to help first-generation homebuyers purchase their very first home. These funds could also be used to cover closing costs and to buy down the interest rate on a mortgage. And last but not least, as the pandemic led to economic instability all across our communities, Congress passed forbearance, relief, and foreclosure protections in the CARES Act to keep homeowners stably housed during the pandemic. We also passed a $10 billion homeowner assistance fund in the American Rescue Plan Act to help struggling homeowners keep up with their mortgage payments and housing costs. There is so much work to be done until everyone has equal access to home ownership in America. Democrats will not rest until that work is done and that dream becomes a reality for all. Thank you very much.